that was a little bit disappointing. So, we're going to go tackle something else. I'm going to build a 3D printer. Well, build a fourth 3D printer. And this time, I'm actually going to go build something good. I'm going to build a Voron V0. Usually you're expected to go out and buy all the parts separately, but in this case there was a pre-built kit I could get, and I bought all the kit of parts and printed out the plastic bits, and well, here's what came in the box. Alright, well, welcome to my desk again. I hope you enjoy our background today. So, if you listen to the background, you can probably hear the whine. I have my other 3D printer going, or one of my other 3D printers going. And I'm going to build a new one. I'm going to build something called a Voron V0. Now, one of the more confusing aspects of building a Voron is that the V isn't actually the evolution, but it's the different model number. They've got the V0, the V1, the V2, the switch wire, and the legacy. And what those names mean is the kind of printer it is. The V0 is a little one. It's only going to have a 120 millimeter cubed build volume. But in the last week, I have finished printing all the parts. I'm going to take a look at that. That is the front of the bed frame, some bed skirting, and we've got some of the tension blocks. I'm printing mine in this wonderful black ABS and light blue ABS. My friend Betty picked out those colors and they seem to come out pretty good. And look at this. Not bad, really. Not bad for parts printed on an ender, I tell you. ABS, no less. But what we're here for is the box I got in the mail today. Ugh. This thing. You can't tell from the typical China yellow on it. You'll know where it came from. Alright, just a moment here. I'm going to clean up all these bits I've printed, although I am really quite proud of these. I don't know if it would quite go with the Print It Forward program, but I think it would do okay. I'll tell you more about Print It Forward as I go through the other bits. Oh, this is a special bit. This is a modification for the V0. The V0 doesn't naturally have any display at all, and this lets me add a display to it. I think that's the only modification I've got for it. Alright, let's get into the magic box. There we go. I know, an unboxing. Everyone's done an unboxing. Well, I don't think I have. Not really intending on doing these very often. Wow! That's a pile of paperwork right there. Not that I actually care. Alright, oh! There is that China smell. That, stale cigarette smoke and, like, danger. You know. Okay. Here we go. So, well, you saw all the printed bits. These kits contain all the parts that aren't printed. I ordered mine from makers. I'll put the link in the description. But this is good looking extrusion. And the ends are tapped, so you're all ready to go there. Let's get this aside. I had expected all that to be wrapped up separately. It doesn't appear to be anodized. It looks like paint, which is weird because it's aluminum. We'll take a closer look at a few of these pieces in a few minutes. Oh, here we go. Cable sleeving. Looks fine. These are the rails. We'll take a close look at these in a minute too. These sometimes need to be worked over. All of the current offerings by, I say offerings, but all the designs by Voron now all run on these linear rails except for the Legacy, which runs on your traditional 8mm like Prusa rods. All right, this is the Z-axis belt. This is the belting for everything else. And being a, well, that's an interesting 5-volt regulator. I'm assuming this is the 5-volt regulator. I'm honestly a little bit disappointed. I was expecting a nice container for this. I have these in stock. We got bed springs, 3 of these. There is, oh, the Z screw has an anti-backlash. It has an anti-backlash nut on it. I was not expecting that. That's a bonus. We got our fans. Got 2 blowers for either side of the hot end, and we got the blower for the hot end itself, or part cooling and hot end. Micro switches for the end stops. Acceptable quality connectors there. I believe this is the bed safety fuse. The bed on the Voron V0 is AC, which, you know, has its problems. Oh, well, that's interesting. Ooh. The SSR is a tiny little on-a-board one. Oh, well, it'll do. We've got our belt drive pinions. These are nice. They're anodized. They look good. I am pleased with that. We have our flanged bearings for all of the idlers. Huh. These look like wheel bearings off my RC cars. Power cord is also a power switch. Was not expecting that. We have our hot end heater block. And we have the thermistors. Oh, look at that. Triangle Labs, no less. I'll take that. Fair amount of wire. It looks like it's the hot end. Bowden tube. Got some idler pulleys. These are decent looking heat set inserts. Fewer than I thought. There's our actual power cable. And we've got crimp terminals and terminal blocks. This is for quickly attaching the hot end. Got some cable chain. Also goes for the, this is for the bed, I believe. Bowden couplers. Some magnets for the door. Gearing for the extruder. Excellent. Bearing for the Z-axis. Alright, let's see what we get electronics-wise. Alright, this should be our 24-volt power supply. Yes! Good brand on that. And I believe this to be the driver board. Oh, look, I get my ducky. I've never had a ducky before. Excellent. Wow. Actually straight out from Big Tree Tech. I will take that. In case anyone's wondering, I paid about $500 for this kit of parts after taxes and shipping. It's really about $400 before that. And we have our bed plate, and it's already machined. I like that. See the pockets here for the bed springs. And we have a textured magnetic PEI coated bed. I thought I was going to have to buy that. This is really a complete kit. I am so far pleased. You got a Raspberry Pi Model B+, because these things are specified to run Clipper, and you got to have a Raspberry Pi to run Clipper on. That's a B+, alright. Wow. No complaints so far. Here is our claimed to be titanium hot end. It's a V6 design, if I remember right. Seems complete. Wow. And here's our bed heater with wiring. Oh, look at that. That's pretty good. Is that 2? Wow. That's 100 watt. That should get that bed nice and toasty right quick. And we got connectors and crimps. And we have, looks like they just gave me whole kits of parts here. Alright, I'll take that. You only need a few standoffs to mount things. That's pretty good. And we have nuts and bolts coming out the wazoo. I will check these actual numbers later. And this is the double-sided tape for holding things on. Oh! Another thing I thought I was going to have to find. It came with the feet. Now, I'm used to ordering these Chinese kits and not getting everything. And I am so far a happy camper. Here's our steppers. 3 for motion, 1 for the extruder. Oh, so much stuff. And I believe what else is in here is going to be the panels. Let's see what we got. So, we've got the 3 clear side panels. One of these is the front door, the 2 sides. And they're plastic coated, so they're not going to get scratched. Slightly different sizes. Oh, look at that. Cool. I don't know which deck this is, but looks like they paid attention to the plans. Oh, they really did. Look at all this. Oh, pre-drilled for everything? Hey, I'm okay with that. And these are the parts for the top hat. And I believe that's the part that hides the Z motor. Alright, let's get this big box out of the way. We'll take a closer look at things for a moment. And looks like I didn't do too badly. Of course, I think I'm not the only one who's bought this kit. Alright, well, much to my chagrin, I did buy a set of blue frame bits for this, and they seem to have walked off. So let's see what we got here. So we got the sides. These all appear to be laser cut. I appreciate that. Yep, they're all still covered in plastic, so they won't get scratched. There's a whole bunch of screws and nuts. And the top hat again. Let's all electronics together. Big Tree Tech, Raspberry Pi 3. That is our solid state relay. Alright, is that right? How is this right? This is low level trigger. Now, is that trigger on or off? Hopefully it stays off most of the time. We'll need to find that out. That's the 5-volt regulator to run the Raspberry Pi. This is a lot. Now, if I recall correctly... Oh, are these all pre-drilled properly? Oh my goodness, I think they're all pre-drilled properly too. That's a thing. Maybe an extra? I got the right number of these short ones. I wonder where my box for the parts is. Alright, we're still getting a close look at everything, right? 24 volt power supply. And anything we need to see here? It's a Meanwell, so it's the right brand. I was expecting to cheap out on this, and they did not. Well, that's handy. What is the output on this? 4.5 amps. That'll do. Well, I guess that's that. In case you don't know what a Voron V0 is, at the end I'll put a link to what Voron is and where its stuff is, where to find their information, and probably some pictures. Oh, speaking of that, why don't we take a look? That'll look okay. So we could turn that big pile of stuff and that big pile of plastic into a printer. I suppose that'll take a week or two. Alright, wish me luck, and I will show you the printer later. Alright, let me clean all this up, and we'll take a look at the motion equipment to make sure that it's actually worth your time. Alright, let's take a moment here. This is the cable chain. It is a name brand. Seems just fine to me. It doesn't do much on the V0, honestly. Yeah. I'm not going to be happy stringing anything through there, but that is good. Honestly, I'm not entirely sold on cable chains in general. I think that's a job that's better done with other facilities in the printer. But I'm going to build it how they said to build it. Alright, so while we're here, a couple important things to note. The SSR, if it defaults to on, that means you could potentially have your printer bed heat up on its own if the rest of the electronics don't come up in time or something goes bad in your wiring. You want an SSR that defaults to off with no signal. I'll tell you how that goes later. Alright, next one. This is an adjustable regulator. Switching reg, it's fine. And it's like 5 amps or something, which is more than that Raspberry Pi will ever use. But it is adjustable. So before you hook your Pi up to this, make sure you have the voltage set to like 5.2 or something. You don't want to blow out your Raspberry Pi, and you want to have enough current that doesn't undervolt. Be careful, don't blow anything up. And while we're on don't blow anything up, I believe this is the safety device on the bed. This will blow if the bed gets above a certain temperature. I don't know if it auto resets, but this covers for a bad SSR, because SSRs tend to die on, which sucks. Alright, so we got stuffs. Oh. Well, that's nice and stiff. I suppose that's the way it's supposed to be. Are we in focus still? Focus. Focus. Whatever. Yeah, this is fine. Got a Darylin block here. Darylin, whatever. And there is no slop in that at all. But it's the bed. I don't know if we care about there being backlash in the bed. The bed's not moving. At least in more than one direction. And gravity's taking up that slop. I mean, I appreciate it. It's cool. Alright. These are the magic rails. Most printers, like my Ender 3 that you hear whining behind us, uses V-rail and nylon wheels or something similar. This, I can open that way? Do I have to knife you? Do I have to stab you? Alright. We're getting to the stabby parts of the night. So, this is a linear rail with all the balls built in. Oh. 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 So I was expecting to need to rebuild these things, and I mean, I'm going to, but that one's pretty nice. Alright, let's move on. Oh, that's not good. Not good. Come back here. Come back here. So these linear rails have no stop in them intrinsically. So these came with these little rubber stoppers. And if this little block runs off the end of one of these rails, it's full of little balls in there. And those things will come out, and that's the end of your linear rail. I mean, you can order new balls from like McMaster, or I've seen them on Amazon and eBay. But you're going to be out of rail for a while. Don't do that. Oh, there we go. know, I do not know how these Magic Hands YouTubers do these Magic Hands things all day. This is not a comfortable position to be in. Of course, I'm doing this on my dining room table instead of at a proper set, which explains the pie blanket background. That's just fine. Let's try you. I mean, there's a little bit of crunch in there, but I'm gonna soak these and put new lube in them. But that's nice. Oh, that one's a little bit crunchy. Just a little. Yeah, it'll need to be cleaned and such. Wow. Alright. That's a lot better than I was expecting. Alright. Well, as always, if you have any questions, I'm NarrowBro on the Voron Discord. I'm NarrowBro here. Feel free to drop me a message. I will do the best I can to answer. And hopefully, we'll see you printer in a week or two. Thanks all.